Hello and welcome back to Inversion Addicts. Today we're going to be taking a look at the history and future of one of my favourite rides in the UK, Nemesis over at Alton Towers. So let's get into it. Nemesis officially opened to the public on the 19th of March 1994 and stood at a cost of £10 million. The ride was created by Bolliger and Mabillard, or B&M, and it was the first time we'd ever seen an inverted B&M in the UK. It was also the biggest investment to date that we'd seen by Alton Towers, and it's seen by many as the first step taken by the park towards becoming the Alton Towers we know and love to this day. Although the hardware for the ride was designed and created by B&M, the ride theming and layout were largely created by Mr. John Wardley, who'd already had a hand in creating some amazing rides across the UK, such as Vampire over at Chessington World of Adventures. Mr. Wardley would of course continue to become an iconic figure within the UK theme park industry, but we'll get to that in another episode. So let me take you back. The year's 1990 and Alton Towers has just added Thunderlooper to the back end of the park. Now, due to strict planning and tree line restrictions imposed on Alton Towers, Thunderlooper was always going to be a temporary installation. Luckily, Alton Towers had their eye on an adjacent plot of land and had started to develop the first major installation. Initially, resident roller coaster designer John Wardley approached Aerodynamics for the new roller coaster, as he'd spotted the Utah-based company working on a new prototype pipeline roller coaster. The prototype would be very similar to Togo's Ultra Twister design that we'd already seen in the market, and after seeing the initial designs and drawings, John Wardley came up with a secret weapon idea, as the ride cars resembled missiles, and John Wardley had a vision where the new ride should be an overall experience where the theming and backstory match the ride, which is something we'd seen at his previous works at other parks. It's definitely something that John's become famous for, and certainly helped put Alton Towers on the map. Now, due to those pesky treeline restrictions that I mentioned earlier in the video, the original secret weapon ride design would have had an underwhelming ride length of only 300 metres. This prompted ride designer John Wardley to redesign the layout, where he concocted Secret Weapon 2. By this time, rock blasting and excavating were taking place over in the area that would become Forbidden Valley, but after riding the prototype, John Wardley deemed it unexciting and cumbersome, which then forced Alton Towers to look for an alternative, once again shelving the Secret Weapon project. Of course, the Secret Weapon tagline would be used in future for most major developments coming to the park, first of which, the reason for this video, Secret Weapon 3, Nemesis. Now fast forward a couple of years to 1992, the current owners of Alton Towers, Two Swords Group, had their interest piqued by a brand new first of its type ride to be opening that year at Six Flags Great America. The ride would of course be Batman the Ride, created by B&M, and would be the first example of an inverted B&M coaster to hit any park across the globe. It's safe to say John Wardley was bowled over by the inverting B&M coaster, so plans and concepts had started to be drawn up for the theming and backstory of Nemesis. Between John Wardley and Nick Varney, the marketing director over at Alton Towers, the theme for Nemesis was agreed to be an alien creature excavated from the ground after being disturbed by groundworks at the park. In the 2 years following, the groundworks and excavation were completed, the track and ride hardware were installed by B&M, completed by the amazing theming and station building that we see to this day at the park. After a couple of soft openings, the ride officially opened to the public on the 19th of March 1994 to critical acclaim. The amazing ride would stand at 13 metres tall, but would host an impressive... one sec, let me just fix this music. That's better, as we were. Nemesis stands at a meek 13 metres tall, but due to the extensive excavating taking place during its construction, it boasts an impressive 31 metre drop. It has a track length of 716 metres and hits a top speed of around 50 miles per hour. It boasts 4 awesome inversions, including my favourite, the 0G roll to begin with, and you feel sustained Gs of around 3.5, making it a really intense example of an inverted B&M coaster. Now it's no secret, Nemesis is widely loved by enthusiasts and the general public alike, but of course, as the years tick on for the old, classic invert, the question has started to arise, what's going to happen to Nemesis in the future? Now in my opinion, Nemesis was a blessing and a curse. Of course, nobody would want Alton Towers without the ride, but unfortunately, looking long term in my opinion, chances are eventually it's going to need a full rebuild, something similar to what we saw take place on Hulk over at Islands of Adventure in Orlando. B&M essentially went in and rebuilt the full coaster, and personally I'm not sure if I can see any other options available to future-proof the coaster. There has been suggestions of simply adding new trains, but I don't think this answers the question of the longevity of the track and supports. Now the reason I say it's a blessing and a curse is because of course this is going to cost big money to replace such a huge B&M Invert, while at the same time Alton Towers aren't essentially getting a new ride per se. Now like I said, I would not want to see Alton Towers without Nemesis in operation in one way or another, but again that begs the question, would it be the same? Old school B&Ms are old school B&Ms for a reason. The new school B&Ms with the vest restraints and the smoother transitions and layouts might take away the essence of what we all love about Nemesis. Personally, I don't envy the person who has to make the decision over at Alton Towers. As you know, you can't please everybody, but one way or another, I think everybody has to start to look at the future of this absolute national treasure of a ride. So that being said, what are your thoughts and opinions on Nemesis? Do you have any suggestions that I haven't covered to try and keep this iconic ride in operation, or would you rather see it replaced with something new and original? As always, let us know in the comments below. Once again, thank you so much for watching. My name's Lee from Inversion Addicts, and until next time, take care.